quiet patterns often reveal the deepest truths about human behavior. In a time when social media encourages people to share every detail of their lives, there is a group of women who choose a very different path. They are active online. They see what everyone else is posting. They understand how social media works. Yet their own photos are rarely seen. To many people, this seems unusual. Some assume these women lack confidence. Others believe they are shy, secretive, or uncomfortable with themselves. But psychology paints a far more interesting picture. In fact, many female empaths who avoid posting their photos are not withdrawing from the world at all. They are making a conscious choice based on how they experience emotions, relationships, attention, and personal boundaries. The reasons behind this behavior are often misunderstood, and that misunderstanding hides a fascinating psychological reality. As this video unfolds, you will discover why many female empaths view privacy differently from most people. You will learn how their emotional sensitivity influences the way they interact with social media, why public attention can feel emotionally exhausting to them, and why validation from strangers often holds far less value than people assume. We will also explore how empathy changes the way a person experiences visibility, why some women become highly protective of their personal space, and how certain life experiences can strengthen their desire to keep parts of themselves hidden from public view. Along the way, you may uncover surprising psychological traits that are rarely discussed, including the connection between deep observation, emotional intelligence, and the decision to remain unseen online. What makes this topic even more intriguing is that many of these women are often misjudged. Their silence is mistaken for insecurity. Their privacy is mistaken for fear. Their absence from the spotlight is mistaken for a lack of confidence. Yet beneath the surface, a completely different story may be unfolding. A story shaped by emotional awareness, self-protection, personal growth, and an understanding of human behavior that many people never develop. The deeper we go into this psychology, the more the common assumptions begin to fall apart. Stay with us until the end, because the final insights may completely change the way you view social media, privacy, and the women who choose not to place themselves at the center of online attention. What appears to be a simple decision not to post photos may actually reveal a powerful mindset, one built on emotional wisdom rather than social approval. By the end of this video, you may start noticing behaviors and motivations that were invisible before, and you may even recognize some of these traits in people around you or perhaps within yourself. Welcome to the channel, where we explore the hidden psychology behind human behavior, relationships, emotional intelligence, and the patterns that quietly shape our lives. If you enjoy deep psychological insights that challenge common beliefs and reveal what most people overlook, make sure to subscribe and join us for more thought-provoking videos. Now, let's uncover the psychology of female empaths who don't post their photos. One of the most misunderstood traits of female empaths is their relationship with attention. Many people assume attention is always desirable. Social media platforms are built around this idea. The more visible a person becomes, the more engagement they receive. More likes, more comments, more reactions, more people watching. For many individuals, this attention feels rewarding. It creates a sense of recognition and importance. But for a female empath, the experience is often very different. An empath naturally pays close attention to emotional signals. She notices moods, tones, intentions, and subtle changes in behavior that other people might completely miss. Because of this heightened awareness, attention rarely feels simple. Every reaction carries emotional weight. Every opinion has the potential to create emotional noise. While another person may quickly move past a comment, an empath often processes it more deeply. She may think about the meaning behind it. She may wonder why it was said. She may analyze the emotions attached to it. This does not mean she is weak. In many cases, it means she is more emotionally aware than most people around her. When a woman posts a photo online, she is not only sharing an image, she is opening a door to public evaluation. People form opinions within seconds. Some opinions are positive, some are negative, some are supportive, some are critical. Even silence becomes a form of feedback. If a photo receives fewer reactions than expected, many people begin questioning themselves. Female empaths are often highly aware of these dynamics. They understand that attention rarely arrives alone. It usually brings judgment with it. The moment a photo becomes public, strangers begin creating stories. They make assumptions about appearance, lifestyle, personality, relationships, and success. An empath can sense this reality very clearly. Rather than exposing themselves to unnecessary emotional energy, many choose privacy instead. This choice is often misunderstood because modern culture associates visibility with confidence. The more a person shares, the more confident they are assumed to be. But confidence and visibility are not the same thing. A woman can be completely confident and still choose privacy. She can be secure in who she is without feeling the need to constantly display herself. In fact, many female empaths become increasingly private as they grow emotionally stronger. They begin realizing that not everyone deserves access to their personal life. They learn that protecting their emotional space is not selfish. It is necessary. Many female empaths have experienced situations where they gave too much of themselves to others. They listened to people's problems. They offered support. They invested emotional energy into relationships. Sometimes they received appreciation. Other times they experienced disappointment. Over time, they begin noticing a pattern. The more access people have, the more opinions they often feel entitled to give. This realization changes the way they approach social media. Instead of treating every moment as content, they begin asking a different question. Is sharing this actually adding value to my life? If the answer is no, they often choose not to share it. Privacy becomes a form of emotional protection. It creates a boundary between their inner world and the outside world. This boundary allows them to enjoy experiences without worrying about public reactions. It allows them to keep certain memories untouched by judgment. It allows them to maintain control over what energy enters their life. To someone who constantly seeks attention, this behavior may seem strange, but to an empath, it often feels natural. Another reason female empaths rarely post their photos is because they do not depend heavily on external validation. Social media operates on a simple psychological principle. Human beings enjoy approval. A positive comment feels good. A compliment feels rewarding. A large number of likes creates a temporary emotional boost. The brain responds to these rewards in powerful ways. This is one reason social media can become addictive. People begin chasing validation without realizing it. They post content. They wait for reactions. They check notifications repeatedly. Their mood rises and falls depending on the response they receive. Female empaths often see this cycle differently. Because they are deeply connected to emotions, they become aware of how temporary these rewards truly are. A compliment feels good for a few moments. Then it fades. A popular post creates excitement for a day. Then attention moves elsewhere. What remains after the excitement disappears? This question becomes important to them. Many female empaths discover that lasting fulfillment comes from deeper sources: genuine friendships, meaningful conversations, personal growth, emotional connection, inner peace. These experiences provide satisfaction that cannot be measured by numbers on a screen. This does not mean female empaths never enjoy compliments. They are human like everyone else. Positive feedback can still feel nice. The difference is that they often do not build their identity around it. Their sense of self-worth comes from internal values rather than public approval. They care more about who they are becoming than how they are being perceived. This mindset changes the way they interact with social media. A woman who depends heavily on validation may feel pressure to constantly update her audience. She may feel the need to prove that she is happy, successful, attractive, or fulfilled. Female empaths often feel less motivated by these desires. They understand that real happiness does not need constant evidence. Real confidence does not require constant announcements. Real fulfillment exists whether it is publicly recognized or not. Because of this, many female empaths become comfortable with being unseen. They do not panic when people forget about them online. They do not feel compelled to remain at the center of attention. Their emotional security comes from within. This gives them a freedom that many people never experience. They are free from the exhausting cycle of constantly seeking approval from strangers. Interestingly, the more emotionally mature a person becomes, the less dependent they often become on external validation. Female empaths frequently reach this realization earlier because they spend so much time reflecting on emotions. They understand how easily people can become trapped by other people's opinions. They see how quickly confidence can disappear when it depends entirely on outside approval. Rather than placing their self-worth in the hands of an audience, They choose to build it internally. This internal focus also affects how they experience life's most meaningful moments. Many people feel an urge to immediately document special experiences. A beautiful sunset becomes a photo. A vacation becomes a series of posts. A celebration becomes content for public viewing. There is nothing inherently wrong with sharing these experiences. But female empaths often approach them differently. Empaths tend to experience life deeply. They pay attention to feelings that others overlook. They notice emotional details hidden beneath ordinary moments. Because of this, they often become fully immersed in experiences. When they are spending time with someone they care about, their focus remains on the connection itself. When they witness a beautiful moment, they want to feel it rather than document it. When they experience joy, they often prefer to live inside that joy rather than immediately share it. This tendency can make them appear distant from social media culture. While others are focused on capturing proof of an experience, empaths are often focused on experiencing it completely. Their attention stays in the present moment. They do not always feel the need to transform personal memories into public content. There is also a deeper psychological reason behind this behavior. Female empaths often value authenticity over performance. Social media can sometimes blur the line between genuine living and public presentation. People begin viewing experiences through the lens of how they will appear online. The experience itself becomes secondary to the image being created. Female empaths frequently notice this shift. They recognize how easy it is for authenticity to become replaced by performance. As a result, they often choose a different path. They allow moments to remain private. They keep certain memories for themselves. They understand that an experience does not become more valuable simply because other people witness it. A meaningful conversation remains meaningful even if nobody else knows about it. A peaceful afternoon remains peaceful even if it is never photographed. A personal achievement remains significant even if it receives no public recognition. This perspective can be difficult for others to understand because modern culture encourages visibility. People are constantly reminded to build personal brands, grow audiences, and increase engagement. Female empaths often move in the opposite direction. They become more selective, more intentional, more protective of what they share. They understand that constant exposure can dilute the emotional value of certain experiences. Many of them also enjoy maintaining a sense of mystery. Not because they are trying to be mysterious, but because they genuinely believe some parts of life should remain personal. They do not feel obligated to explain everything. They do not feel responsible for providing constant updates. They understand that privacy can preserve emotional depth in ways public exposure cannot. Over time, this creates a unique relationship with social media. They may still use it. They may still enjoy connecting with people. They may still appreciate inspiring content, but they refuse to let it dictate their sense of identity. Their worth does not rise and fall with engagement. Their happiness does not depend on visibility. Their experiences do not require an audience to feel real. While many people chase attention in hopes of feeling seen, female empaths often discover that true peace comes from knowing who they are even when nobody is watching. As female empaths grow older and gain more life experience, many of them begin noticing a reality that other people often overlook. Visibility always comes with a price. At first, attention can feel harmless. A photo receives compliments. Friends react positively. People show interest. Everything appears pleasant on the surface. But attention rarely stops at admiration. Attention creates curiosity. Curiosity creates expectations. And expectations slowly become pressure. This is where the experience of an empath often becomes very different from everyone else. Most people see attention as a benefit. Empaths are more likely to notice the hidden responsibilities that come with it. The more visible a person becomes, the more people begin forming opinions about them. Strangers start making assumptions. Friends start expecting updates. Followers begin creating an image of who they think that person is. Over time, maintaining that image can become exhausting. Many female empaths recognize this emotional burden long before others do. A simple photo online may seem insignificant, but an empath often notices everything attached to it. One person may wonder where it was taken. Another may ask questions about relationships. Someone else may compare themselves to it. Others may criticize it. Some may become jealous. Some may become intrusive. The photo itself is no longer just a photo. it becomes a source of endless reactions and interpretations. Because empaths naturally absorb emotional energy, they often feel these reactions more intensely. Even when they do not respond to comments, they are aware of them. Even when they ignore judgments, they notice them. While another person may quickly move on, an empath often senses the emotional atmosphere surrounding attention. They can feel when attention becomes demanding rather than supportive. This awareness leads many female empaths to a powerful realization. Not every opportunity for visibility is worth accepting. Not every audience deserves access. Not every part of life needs public exposure. For many people, more visibility feels like success. For an empath, more visibility can sometimes feel like more emotional responsibility. The larger the audience becomes, the greater the expectations become. People begin expecting consistency. They expect updates. They expect explanations. They expect access. They begin feeling entitled to information that was once private. This process often happens slowly. At first, it seems harmless, then it becomes exhausting. An empath may start noticing that her peaceful moments are no longer completely peaceful because she is aware that others are watching. Her personal choices become topics of discussion. Her appearance becomes open for evaluation. Her life becomes a source of public interpretation. Many female empaths eventually decide that peace is more valuable than attention. They stop viewing privacy as a limitation. They begin viewing it as freedom. Freedom from constant observation. Freedom from endless opinions. Freedom from the pressure to maintain a public image. This decision often surprises people because society constantly encourages visibility. People are taught to share more, post more, reveal more, build a larger audience, gain more attention. Female empaths frequently move in the opposite direction. They become more selective rather than more exposed. What makes this especially interesting is that many of them are not avoiding visibility because they are afraid. They are avoiding unnecessary visibility because they understand its consequences. They have learned that every door open to the public also invites energy from the public. Not all of that energy is positive. Many female empaths learned this lesson through painful experiences. Some trusted the wrong people. Some shared personal information that was later used against them. Some opened their hearts only to experience disappointment. Others discovered that kindness is not always met with kindness. These experiences leave a lasting impression. One of the most important lessons an empath eventually learns is the importance of boundaries. Interestingly, boundaries are often developed through pain. Very few people create strong boundaries when life is easy. Boundaries usually emerge after someone has experienced emotional exhaustion, betrayal, manipulation, or disappointment. Female empaths are especially vulnerable to these experiences because they naturally care deeply about others. Many empaths spend years putting other people's needs before their own. They listen, they support, they forgive, they understand. They give people second chances. Sometimes they give people third and fourth chances as well. Their compassion is genuine. Their desire to help is sincere. But over time, they begin noticing a difficult truth. Not everyone respects openness. Not everyone values vulnerability. Not everyone deserves unlimited access. Some people take advantage of emotional generosity. Some people misuse trust. Some people mistake kindness for weakness. These experiences slowly teach empaths that boundaries are necessary for emotional survival. This lesson often changes the way they use social media. When they were younger, they may have shared more openly. They may have posted personal updates. They may have revealed details about their lives. But experience teaches them caution. They begin noticing patterns. The more personal information people have, the more opportunities they have to judge, criticize, gossip, or interfere. As a result, female empaths become increasingly selective. They no longer feel obligated to explain every decision. They no longer feel responsible for satisfying everyone's curiosity. They no longer believe every personal experience belongs in the public domain. What once looked like openness gradually transforms into intentional privacy. This shift is often misunderstood by others. People may assume the empath has become distant, secretive, unfriendly. Reserved in reality, she has simply learned where her boundaries belong. She has learned that access should be earned, not automatically granted. She has learned that trust should be built over time. She has learned that emotional energy is valuable and should not be given away carelessly. For female empaths, privacy often becomes a form of self-respect. It is a quiet statement that says not everyone gets unlimited access to my thoughts, emotions, memories, and experiences. It is not about hiding. It is about protecting. It is not about fear. It is about wisdom. This wisdom often extends far beyond social media. It affects friendships, relationships, conversations, and everyday interactions. The empath becomes more intentional about who receives her energy and attention. At the same time, another fascinating trait begins to emerge. While many people focus on being seen, empaths often become focused on observing. Many female empaths are natural observers. They notice details that others miss. They pay attention to behavior patterns. They listen carefully to what people say. They pay even closer attention to what people do. This ability develops because empathy requires observation. To understand emotions, a person must learn to recognize subtle signals, tone of voice, body language, facial expressions, word choices, behavioral patterns. Over time, this creates a personality that often values observation more than self-promotion. While many people enter a room hoping to be noticed, the empath often enters a room and begins quietly noticing everyone else. The same pattern appears online. Social media becomes a place where they observe human behavior. They watch interactions, they study communication styles. They notice relationship dynamics. They see how people present themselves. They observe what people choose to reveal and what they choose to hide. Many female empaths spend far more time observing than posting. This does not mean they are inactive. It means their focus is different. For some people, social media functions like a stage. For an empath, it often functions like a window. A stage is designed for performance. A window is designed for observation. This difference explains why many female empaths feel perfectly comfortable maintaining a low profile online. They do not need to constantly announce their presence. They do not need to remind everyone they exist. They do not feel anxious when they are not receiving attention. Their attention is often directed outward rather than inward. They are learning, observing, understanding, analyzing. The quiet observer often gains insights that the performer misses. Because they are not focused on managing an image, they have more mental space to notice reality. They see inconsistencies, they recognize patterns, they notice emotional motivations behind behavior. This ability becomes stronger over time. Eventually, many female empaths develop a deep understanding of human nature, and this understanding changes how they think about visibility. The more they observe people, the more selective they become about what they reveal. They realize that not everyone who asks questions has good intentions. Not everyone who shows interest genuinely cares. Not everyone who wants access deserves it. This brings us to one of the biggest misconceptions surrounding female empaths who rarely post their photos. Many people assume they are hiding because they lack confidence. The assumption seems logical on the surface. If someone avoids attention, they must be insecure. If someone avoids posting pictures, they must dislike themselves. If someone chooses privacy, they must be afraid of judgment. But this interpretation often misses the deeper reality. In many cases, female empaths are not hiding because they are insecure. They are hiding because they understand. They understand the emotional cost of constant visibility. They understand how quickly attention can become pressure. They understand how public exposure attracts opinions from people who know very little about them. They understand how easily peace can be disrupted when too many people gain access to personal details. Most importantly, they understand that not everyone deserves access to every part of their life. Not everyone deserves explanations. Not everyone deserves updates. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to personal experiences. This realization does not come from weakness. It comes from experience. It comes from observing human behavior over many years. It comes from learning difficult lessons. It comes from recognizing that privacy is not always a wall. Sometimes privacy is wisdom. Sometimes privacy is emotional intelligence. Sometimes privacy is self-respect. And sometimes the strongest person in the room is not the one attracting the most attention. Sometimes it is the person who understands exactly when to remain unseen. As we reach the end of this journey, a very different picture begins to emerge. The woman who rarely posts her photos online is not necessarily insecure. She is not automatically shy. She is not always hiding. In many cases, she has simply learned lessons that others are still learning. She understands that energy is valuable. She knows that not every opinion deserves her attention. She has discovered that privacy can create emotional safety in a world that constantly encourages exposure. While many people search for validation through likes, comments, and approval, she often finds her confidence through self-awareness, meaningful relationships, and personal values. Her sense of worth does not depend on being seen by everyone. It comes from knowing who she is when nobody is watching. Throughout this video, we explored how female empaths protect their energy, why privacy often becomes a form of emotional self-protection, and how internal validation creates a level of independence that social media cannot provide. We learned that authenticity matters more to them than attention. We saw how boundaries become stronger through life experiences, and how observation often becomes more important than self-promotion. While others may feel pressure to constantly share their lives, female empaths often choose a different path. They focus on living experiences rather than displaying them.